the thing is, you can't really tell your parents what you're going through because they will not understand. You know, a couple of things only people who are working with you will understand, but it's in a very tough spot, yeah. Only I know how much, like how hard I've worked. The sleepless nights, the food cravings, but you can't, and then you miss out so much on with your family, with your friends. I know how much I've worked for this. I just look at him, I'm like, okay, what's up? Even, that just works. Just Vijay and I just work.
So welcome Rashmika to Pinkvilla.
Thank you so much.
Yeah. So, you have been literally living a suitcase life, traveling from one city to another at such a young age.
Yeah,
so how have you managed that? And now that you have a home in Mumbai, are you relieved?
As in, how am I getting adjusted? This is all new, yeah. Like I've just started working, and since I started working, it's just this has been my life. So this is literally my life now, the suitcase life. But having a home in Bombay, it's nice. It's a nice feeling that you can go back home after a long day of work, It's hard for me to stay in hotels.
Absolutely, but does it give you like that dream home kind of a thing? What are the things that you considered when you wanted to make that home?
I think the Bombay house, the interiors, I did it myself, like with the help, of course, Darshini. But this is a simple boho style wooden minimalistic vibe, which is extremely my vibe, and it feels lovely to go back to a home like that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
And you last 5-6 years you have come a long way. So from your first audition to now a debut in Bollywood, how has life changed?
I never thought films were for me. I never thought acting was going to be my life, because back in the days I used to just dance, and I used to do classical dances. But every time I had to get on for a play, I was always said, no, you cannot act. But I think after debuting, people just saw how, I don't know if I act, I think I live in those characters. Like, I think that's what people saw when I debuted in my first film. And people, in fact, started calling me the character name than my original name. So I think it's just, the more genuine you are to your characters, that's how much it penetrates to audience hearts. So yeah.
So at a very young age, you stay away from your home, your family is not around, probably the friends that you have grown up with are not around. So how have you managed that phase?
I think regarding my family, I miss them, yeah. Like, this is the only thing I complain regarding my work, is that I miss my family. I am unable to see my sister grow up. It's 16 years gap between me and my sister. We have age gap.
Yeah.
And I'm literally like her second mama. And I'm not there while she's growing up. But she knows that she sees me on screen, she sees my films, and she copies me, she copies my dance, and then she sends me videos of those, and it's extremely special that I get to do this. She gets to watch me everywhere, and yeah, it's really nice, but I miss them. And my friends, of course, now that all of us are starting to work and everything, everyone are in different countries, and I'm like, oh, but you guys are everywhere, I can't travel so far to see you. But when they come back home, of course, we all catch up, and it's nice.
Yeah, and because you mentioned the gap is 16 years old, how is her reaction when she watches your movies?
Ooh, so apparently Mama tells me, like, the first 2-3 films I could watch it with them, and she used to always sit on my lap and whatever. But nowadays, apparently, she cries. Like, every time there's an emotional scene between me, or even if it's the hero who is having an emotional scene and all, she just cries. Like, no, I want to see my sister. Where is she? Bring her, call her right now. And I get some 4-5 calls during the film, when they watch the film, and it's cute, no?
Yeah, it's
cute to have a sister who's that.
But now how is she reacting? Because now you will be, spending more time in Mumbai also with your Bollywood debut and all of that.
Tough, yeah. Tough it is when I'm literally like her second mama. So she's like, okay, you're making all the money, you're getting all the fame, you're doing all the acting, but I don't want all of that. I want your time.
Your time, absolutely.
When you think about it, it actually makes sense.
Yeah, absolutely.
it's like, it's amazing how kids think these days. Like, I don't want your money, I don't want your fame, I don't want your name, I don't want anything. Just give me your time, you know, give me attention. And I'm like, that makes a lot of sense. So every day, of course, there's FaceTime happening, there's calls happening, messages happening, but I know she misses me and I miss her too.
Yeah, but you know, we just mentioned about your Bollywood debut. So how excited are you, A? And secondly, how did it actually happen?
Mama, I think every first film in every industry is extremely nerve-wracking but exciting, you know. So I'm super excited for both my films, in fact, for Mission Majnu and Goodbye. I'm just curious to see what's going to happen. You know, I don't know, man. I'm just out of words. I think while shooting, also, I've just been constantly in conversation with Vikas and, you know, Sid and Shantanu sir and Bachchan sir, saying, how's it going to be? You know, I'm new.
Absolutely.
As in, I might have experience out there, but I'm still new to this industry, and I'm sure every industry work very differently. So yeah, I'm curious to see what's gonna happen.
Yeah. And you know, every industry has its own personality in a way. So whenever, you know, Bollywood actors go to South, I always end up asking them that how is it different? So I would ask you the other way around, that how is Bollywood different than a South industry?
I think with personal experience, it matters between the teams rather than industries. Of course, there's different language, different culture, different food, different atmosphere, everything in different states. But when it comes to the working styles, I think it more depends on each team. Like Mission Majnu team is extremely different from Goodbye team, you know, but both of them are so, as in both of them are so passionate of what they want, and you know, they're just so driven for the scripts and everything. So yeah, I'd say this. Yeah.
But what are the preparations that went into, like, you know, learning a language, understanding the script, understanding the industry? What are all the things that you considered?
I think for me, the main thing when I enter into a different state is learning their language first. So initially, I just knew Kannada and English, and then I entered Telugu, and now I started thinking in Telugu, and I entered Tamil. Now I know so much of Tamil, and I entered Hindi. Now I know so much of Hindi. So I'm like learning so many languages, learning so many different ways of working. It's of course, sometimes you're like, oh my god, this is so much in my brain, you know. And I'm not kidding. So every time I'm doing an interview, I'm thinking in different languages that words don't come out.
True.
So example, now if someone talks to me in Tamil, I'll probably, for what I'll probably get kya. Like I won't get a Tamil word. So I'm like thinking in so many languages. It's just weird.
But I think the best way to learn any language is to think in that language. But that makes a lot of difference. But because you are doing multiple things.
Like when you're doing 4 films in 4 different languages, you can't.
But has that ever happened on a set that you're talking, or you're you're delivering a dialogue and you end up using words?
Oh, so many times. Yeah. So many times. They're like, sorry, again. Let's do it again. one more. It happens because of languages.
Languages, absolutely. And you know, Rashmika, I want to ask you one thing. You're immensely popular. So I was going through, Instagram. We scroll a lot, and I was going through some Marathi, quotes. But I saw your picture. So that was one thing that I thought, you've just done
so
South
sweet.
Movies, and of course you will debut in Bollywood. But that face has become so popular. So A, what do you feel what makes you so popular, and B, how do you manage so much of fan following?
I think the popularity comes with me. Like I've never liked barriers. Like for me, barriers have always been just a side thing. I would love to do a Bengali film, maybe a Marathi film, like different films, different languages, different cultures. And I don't think I do anything to manage the following that we have. I think I'm just being as real as I can. And in fact, before I started working films also, I think being real has always been my thing. As in, of course, it's extremely irony to say that your work is literally being someone else. You know, you're living a different
Life,
person's
yeah.
life in your life. But I think on social media, it's just me. It's just me being real me. Like, I'll show funny faces, I'll show face without makeup, I'll show a messy hair day, I'll show that, I'll show this. That's just me. So I think that's what people like, you know. People don't want to see something which is made up, because there's so much, you know, people are visible too. Like, people see these days.
Yeah.
Just being uniquely you is different.
Yeah, absolutely. And you know, as you said that, you know, people like it because you are real, but that adds a lot of responsibility also. Whenever movies up for release, they will have those expectations. So how do you react to that?
I think it's all in the situation, yeah. Like, I react to things with as per the situations come. So when people have, like, I have a release and people expect me to be a certain way, as in regarding that character, I will be that character. But when I speak to you right now, I'm being real. Like, when probably tomorrow my film is releasing and I'm still having this conversation with you, I'll be real. So it's just a slight, you know, I think figuring out where to be how. You know, but yeah, I react to situations.
You know, social media is a boom in a lot of things, but at times, you know, it also takes a mental toll on a lot of people. Yeah, because of trolling and a lot of things happening. So as a celebrity, how do you maintain that hygiene?
I think in the first year of me debuting itself, I had to deal with a lot of trolls and a lot of commenting and whatnot. And it hit me pretty hard back then, but I think over the years you sort of, like, we're all animals, and the best part about human is our human brains just adapt to things really quickly. And I think I would be a perfect example for that. I just adapted to things. I adapted to the lifestyle I have, the work that I do, the love that I receive, the hate that I receive, everything. So yeah, now I'm just like, this is the only way that I know of it.
And what are the kind of advices that you get from people from the industry or your friends? Because you're honest, you're real, and at times people advise you against it.
Ooh, yeah. So I've multiple stuff. People just see, when people haven't lived your life, they will have a lot to say. Once, like, nobody would have lived your life. You're the only one who wakes up to you, sleeps, you know, with yourself. So people, of course, advise me on a lot, but you take what you can take, or what you should take, what you must take. So for me, like, the advice is like, you know, don't give energy to that, or it just happens, you know, everything happens for a good reason. But bro, like, there has to be a reason why it's happening now. Like,
that's true.
Happens for a good reason, okay, but why? Right. When you can, you know, like, when you don't have to go through something, why do you have to go through something saying it's going to happen for a good reason? So yeah, like, take in advices, but take in the advices which you want to take in. Don't force some advices on people because you haven't lived their lives. Only they'll know what is best for them.
Absolutely. And you know, again, coming back to your Bollywood debut, how did your parents react when they got to know that you're going to work with Amitabh Bachchan sir?
I think this was during the lockdown that I was stuck with so Mission Majnu, I was stuck in Hyderabad and my parents were back in Coorg, and I just spoke to mom and I was like, Mama, so there's this Hindi film which of course before that I'd heard a lot of scripts and you know, discussions were on and everything, but this time I was like, Mama, I'm signing a Bollywood film. And she's like, oh, that's amazing. Now my daughter is going to be on a national platform. And I think a month after that, or a month and a half, I was traveling to Coorg in the lockdown with all the permissions. I was traveling to Coorg because I had to take my family to a hospital or something. Okay. So on the way I was reading the script, and on the way I made a call to Vikas saying I want to do this film. And when I reached home, I think it was all sorted, and I just walked into the house and I was like, Pa, Ma, I have to tell you something. I'm doing this film, and Of course, I told it it's with Bachchan sir and all of that. They're like, what? You're doing a film with Bachchan sir? I'm like, yeah, that happened. Yeah, of course, it's with like Papa has watched so much of the films, and because I was in the hostel, I've never really gotten to watch films. So in our hostel, there was no TV, there's no films, so I missed out on a lot. But of course, with Bachchan sir, it's a big name for all of us. So we were just really happy.
Yeah, but I also want to know that parents, they are always happy when their kid grows and they are so popular. But what are the advices that they give you? Because are they stressed when you're not in the city or you're traveling?
So that's the thing. Again, my parents are not from the film background. They have no idea what happens in films. So for me, my mom, like I'm their daughter, like they care about me than anything in the world, right? So for me, my mom will be like, sleep on time, eat on time, don't work out so much. Why do you have to work out? Eat what you want. It's all their thing. But they don't realize that being an actor, you have to maintain a certain diet. You can't sleep when you want. You can't play when you want. You can't do anything that when you want. So it's all very different for my parents. But the only people who have seen me stressed out and angry and frustrated is my parents. So they're like, why so much anger? Why frustration? It's okay. If things don't work out, it's fine. You have us. You can come back home. And the thing is, you can't really tell your parents what you're going through because they will not understand. A couple of things only people who are working with you will understand, but it's in a very tough spot, Like, I don't want to annoy my parents. I don't want to trouble them. So I don't tell them anything. In fact, when I sign a film, they'll, some of the films, they've just read it on the news and they're like, you're doing this film. I'm like, oh shit, I didn't tell you. Yeah, I'm doing that film.
But that happens that, they read something about you and then they call you.
Yeah. Because you're so involved, you're so, diving into your work, and then you don't have the mental space to think about anything else. But my parents are extremely away from film industry. They haven't even come to an award show. They don't know what it is. They don't.
But do they review your movie? Like they watch and give you like?
They're my first audience.
Okay.
Like the first day my film releases, if they're in best of their health, they'll go, they'll watch, and they'll be like, "This film we liked." Of course, I'm their daughter, so they're extremely biased. They like anything that I do. But they're like, you've done a really good job. We see how much of the hard work. And every time I have night shoots, my mom is like, I don't know why you're doing that to yourself, but I hope it goes well for you. And the puja is what happened in the house. And you know how mamas are. I'm not able to be there with you, so let God be there with you. Like, oh, I wish.
But I think that's very, very sweet, coming from the background that we actually come from, that kind of support. And how do you manage your diet and schedule? Because as you rightly mentioned that you also work in night shifts when required. So how do you maintain all of that?
I think almost like 3-4 months pehle, I used to work out like a beast. Like I used to work out 3-4 hours a day. I used to work out with such intensity, but I realized that I'm just exhausting my body out equally as much. Now it's just, so I was talking to my doctor and she said, see, you people have changed your diet so much that you just end up eating leaves and just vegetables. But you do realize that you have been born in a very proper like rice and meal, like correct. A whole meal and rasams and the sabzis and all of that. You've been brought up in that, so your system is okay with it. Don't look at someone else and change your diet according to their, because their diet and their body structure is extremely different. So this is something I learned recently, and I started it, and I see so many changes in my body. My skin is better, my physique. It's not like I have six-pack, but
absolutely,
I am in a much better shape, So now it's just balanced diet with 45 minutes of workout every day, because we're stressing our body out so much through the day. It's all minimal and it's working out wonders.
So 5 years into the industry and so much of popularity, what will you give credit to? Of course, it's the destiny, it's your parents' prayers, but also a selection of the scripts that you have done.
My hard work, I will straight out say, like, only I know how much, like, how hard I've worked. The sleepless nights, the the food cravings, but you can't, and then you miss out so much on with your family, with your friends. I know how much I've worked for this. So I think the credit all goes to my hard work. But at the same time, I think the people who I work with, keep it my directors, keep it my co-stars, like I pick out things from people. I'm a sponge. So I tend to pick out, like a habit from an actor, or something an actor says, or something a director says. I just tend to pick it up and make it my own. So I think credit goes to me and the people who I work with.
And before I decided to have this conversation with you, I was just doing my research, only to realize that you've done your debut with Kannada movie and people want you back. They want to see more of you in that industry.
Yeah.
So there are so many fans waiting for you to do movies there. So how do you plan that?
I don't know. Right now, it's just so, traveling takes a lot of your time.
Yeah.
So for me to handle situations between Telugu and Hindi is getting so hard. But then again, I'm doing one Tamil film. Again, I have to do a Kannada film. So now I'm like, you know what? I'm just going to do a pan-India film, which is going to make it a little easier on me. Because imagine you have to... So I have to do all the 4 states down south, and I have to do Hindi. So that's 5 films a year.
You're doing Malayalam also?
No. And like, of course, a lot of people from, Kerala has been asking me to do a Malayalam film, and I want to. So imagine considering even Malayalam, you're doing 4 films there and you're doing one Indian, Hindi film.
Yeah.
I'm like, 5 films a year, bro, that's a lot of time.
Yeah.
Like, even if one film takes 100 days, imagine 100 working days.
Yeah.
Like, I'll need 500 days in my year, not 365.
True.
So, yeah.
And most of the times couples on screen become very popular. And I think I mentioned that, I loved Geeta Govindam. I've watched it like more than 20 times. And you and Vijay are one of my favorite on-screen couple.
You
have done 2 movies together,
yes.
and people love watching you. So do you have any plans to, do a third one? Or what do you think is the secret of your such amazing on-screen chemistry?
I think we're such good friends. He's literally my best friend off screen, and I think just I don't know, just both of our energies just come together and blend in so well. We don't even have to put an effort for the chemistry. It's just like him and I standing on the screen. I'll just look at him, I'm like, okay, what's up? Even, that just works. Just Vijay and I just work. But regarding our third film together, you have to ask him. He's been shooting for Liger now, and I'm waiting for that film, and I'm curious to see what's going to happen next. And one of his next, probably I'll do if my timeline and his timeline matches.
So you are known as the queen of expressions, and our readers would love to see your expressions. So I'm going to just say statements, and you have to just react with your expressions.
Done.
So Rashmika doing a movie with SRK, Shah Rukh Khan. Rashmika's post-workout mood. Rashmika's first reaction on meeting Siddharth on the set of Mission Majnu. Rashmika gets 25 hours a day. Rashmika is going to sign her third movie with Sanjay Leela Bhansali.
With a heart.
Last, Rashmika needs to put on a lot of weight for her next movie. Thank you so much, Rashmika. It was lovely talking to you.
Lovely talking to you.
Thank
always.
you.
Thank you.